here at Osirium, we're all about privileged access management, and that means sysadmins making critical connections to critical systems. And the security of our product is based on the concept of identity in, roll out. So clearly, the quality of identity affects the overall security of the system. So we're always best friends with identity providers, like Stephen here.
Hi, I'm Stephen from Authlogics, and that's exactly what we do. Is we focus on making sure the human being is who they say they are through various factors of either something they are with biometrics or something they know, various factors you can do, but it's critical to prove that the human being is the identity that you're putting into an access management system.
In this integration with Authlogics, you're going to see it working with both Radius and SAML. And when it works with SAML, we're going to ADFS, and you're going to see a range of options. For example, you can log into the PAM server using the Authlogics code and your AD password, or just the Authlogics code, and the Authlogics code can be used either with your mobile device or without the mobile device, or either. Anyway, let's get on with it.
So I'll just go, So we'll go for a PAM login using our MFA test user. Okay, this is going to use ADFS, so I've already logged in, so it's going to pass my Windows credentials through, so it should just ask for my Authlogics MFA. So you can see we've got the pin grid on the screen.
So this kind of covers two scenarios at the moment which we can show you. One is going to be around the deviceless login, where we can use an optional grid on the screen. And in that scenario, we don't need to have a second physical device or enroll any tokens or anything like that. So it's a very, very quick deployment. But it gives you a very secure single-factor logon via a one-time code. And also, we don't need a password with it because we're using a knowledge factor already. So that's the one way around. And the second way around is by using the phone, where we have the grid on the phone. And the grid on there is unique to this device. So if you use the grid on the phone, it becomes a full-blown two-factor authentication.
Okay, let's go for a login.
So now all Stuart's doing is typing in the numbers that are inside the squares that he remembers as part of his pattern. And that's logged in. So simply by joining the two things together, something you have being the phone and something you know being the pattern, joined together creates that code. So that code alone is a two-factor code, doesn't need to be paired with something else like a password. It's already two-factor, so you're good to go. Hi, I'm here today with Stuart just to talk around how the integration between our two products became to being. And I'm obviously very familiar with how to set up Authlogics and how to get our software installed. So we'll let Stuart explain how he got the Authlogics solution integrated with his own in about an hour or so, wasn't it?
Yeah, the initial setup for the Radius style authentication was quite quick. The SAML authentication took a bit longer because I had to build an ADFS environment to do the testing with. Let's talk a quick bit about how our product uses 2FA. If I just quickly log in as our super admin account, which isn't 2FA. So when we create users in PAM, we can define their login types. So I created this one here called MFA test.
And that one uses a SAML authentication.
Uses a SAML log I'm testing now, but I could also set it, so if I'm using Radius with Authlogics, I would set it as Active Directory then Radius, because it would then make the call via our links to AD, auth the user that way, and then call out to Authlogics via Radius to get a yes or no for the second part. So that's how we.
So it does as a two-step authentication, then directly with AD.
Yeah. If you want to be really lazy, you could just use Radius.
Yeah. So you've got configuration options you can pick and choose per user. That's quite cool.
It's very standard is the local then Radius.
Yeah.
So let's come back out of that. So basically, what we did here was so downloaded the Authlogics application. Which is great because it's a 10-user free license, which made getting this demo set up really easy. Then, once you've got that installed in the console, you can set it up for Radius, and it automatically goes off and builds into the NPS server within Windows, everything you need to do it. And we then just add that secret key that we use for the Radius authentication into PAM, select the user as Radius, and then when I log on as that MFA test user, log on with my AD creds, and I put in my code from my Authlogics app on my phone as the second factor. That I had done in an hour or two. It was very, very quick. So the SAML integration, we use ADFS for it. There's a plugin that Authlogics provide, which is the ADFS plugin. Once I got the ADFS set up, I just installed that. I could then select in ADFS, I can have the second factor as the Authlogics. And then, as we've seen on the other demos, I log in and it prompts up with the pin grid, which I then put the pin grid into my phone. Super easy.
Job done. And so you had it working with password as the first factor, and you've also done passwordless in terms of the integration.
Yes, so setting it up. So ADFS by default isn't Chrome friendly. So when you first log in, the ADFS side will not pick up the Windows integration. So it will then prompt for your AD user credentials on that page. Once I'd added the user agents in for ADFS and got Windows to pass through my credentials that I've already logged in as that user into Windows, so it already knows I'm authenticated, all it had to do was then say, right, well, I know your MFA test, but you need to provide a second factor. Give me your pin grid.
Yeah, that's cool. Because obviously with an ADFS you can configure the different first and second step logins differently, so you can do that first logon with a form logon as well. So it can be using a password as a form, and then the second step is an MFA, but it's really down to infrastructure and environment of how you're setting it
Absolutely.
up.
And if the browser itself supports the Windows integrated, it'll always fall back to that. So you're never not going to be able to log on, but it's nice that you can just do it in one step.
So end to end, from installing the initial our server through to the SAML integration up and running, when we're talking hours, days?
Yeah, hours. Yeah, if I'd have had my ADFS environment, in the demo environment built, I'd have been up and running in a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's kind of what we always aim for, is the simple deployment and easy for end users to use as well. And so it's good to know that you had that experience that we hoped for when you built that integration.
Yeah, documentation was fantastic. I had to dive in occasionally just to go, but like a typical sysadmin, I just piled straight in and worked through the thing, and then just look at documentation as and when I kind of hit hurdles in slightly more technical areas. But it works a treat.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for the quick rundown of how you set up the technical integration.
No problem. Thank you.